Good morning, everyone. Kris here with Inspired Energy. Good morning, Hartwell.
Good morning, Kris. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, you're loud and clear this morning on my computer. That's awesome. So sorry for a little bit of a late start this morning. Little computer's not like wanting to start up this morning. So we're going to continue our journey on the codon ring. So the next one that we're exploring is called the codon ring of Gaia. So, how about we dive right into that? What makes up the Ring of Gaia and what is the basic theme for it?
Well, following on the gate 41, which was the start codon in human genetics, we come next to the 19. So I'm just continuing along the wheel, starting at 41. So 19 is next. And 19 is one of three gene keys which are part of the Ring of Gaia. 19, 60, and 61. But today, so we're going to review all of those, see how that goes, because as I said last week, there can be multiples in one ring. So that's our plan.
Awesome. So can we dive right in and get to it? Let's see what consists of the Ring of Gaia. What makes up the Ring of Gaia?
Well, the basic theme that these three gates share is that all of life is interdependent. These are the ones that really remind us of that, and they point to the eventuality that we will at some point in the future, we will once again live in union. All beings on the planet will share and be in alignment with each other. So these codons at their shadow level, they prevent the awareness that all different life forms are interconnected. At their gift and siddhic level, they promote, they ground or represent the truth that we are all interconnected.
Beautiful. So please tell us about the gene keys and which ones make up and the ring, and then explain each one.
Okay, well, gate 19 is the one that follows 41. So we'll start there. And gate 19, gene key 19 is this codon ring is related to isoleucine. That is the amino acid that it is connected to. And gene key 19 specifically is related to body hair. And it is a journey from codependence at the shadow level via the way of sacrifice, via the way of sensitivity, rather. So sensitivity is the gift on its way to an understanding of sacrifice, at the level of enlightenment. So really what gate 19 is the story of our relationship to God. At the shadow level of codependence, we have this feeling that we can't live our life on our own, that we need support from outside of us. And so, like all of the shadow frequencies, it traps us in a sense of fear, of separation, and of our sense of not being adequate within life.
Right.
And so, of course, on the gate of 19, it shows up as codependence, the sense of I need someone in order to survive.
Right.
So, that expresses as a neediness, a clinginess,
Right.
or potentially an isolation, if it's a reaction on the other side.
Or both.
Yeah, or they toggle between each other,
Yeah.
right? But basically, this is the shift. This city is part one of its tribal gates, and it relates to our journey to kind of say, God is out there, and therefore I need depend upon God or upon other people. And then the journey becomes the journey to become independent. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And at the level of independence, then we learn to be sensitive. So sensitivity is the gift. And this opens us up to the connection, the sense of connection to all the other humans in our life. So,
Mm-hmm.
once we gain independence, we gain the ability to read and understand what the needs of other beings are, and to
Mm-hmm.
be able to, in a sense, answer those
Mm-hmm.
or relate to those.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the highest level, at the level of sacrifice, we become willing to sacrifice our individual sense of self for the realization that God exists within us, and that God that exists within us is also the God that exists in all other forms of life.
Right. And there's a
So
purpose behind his design.
yeah,
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
that what needs to be sacrificed, why sacrifice is the city, is that we have to be willing to give up our sense of separateness. I give up our sense of
Mm-hmm.
uniqueness.
Right. Yeah.
So that's gate
So,
19.
mm-hmm.
Do
And
you have anything to
so
add to
moving
that?
on, we have 60.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
just before we take a step away from that, 19 is also, the it's the gene key that relates to the awareness of many indigenous tribes, that we are all connected. So it represents a kind of nature shamanism, and a sense of
Mm-hmm.
God being in all things, and ability to read the book of nature.
Right. Yeah.
So gate 60,
Mm-hmm.
which gene key 60 relates to the colon. And this is the journey from limitation to justice via the gift or the way of realism.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 60 at its shadow level is it's closed circuit thinking. It's being trapped by the habit patterns and structures of our life, which causes us to shut down all the life receiving faculties that we possess.
Mm-hmm.
So all of our energy gets trapped in structure, in patterns, in rigidity, in habits. And this actually catalyzes death in us. It's a very
Mm-hmm.
death promoting energy, because it
Mm-hmm.
squeezes all the life. All the life is in the system, and the system keeps us rigid and unavailable for magic. So
Mm-hmm.
60 at the shadow level is very anti magic,
Mm-hmm.
because magic, in a sense, spills over or contradicts the laws of form.
No, it's all about flow, right?
Yes. Well, in one way of speaking, for sure. So, this is where the disenchantment comes in at the shadow level. Disenchantment is one of the energies, or the sense of fanaticism, being locked into only one way of viewing the world. Now, at the gift level, that expands into a sense that um, be understanding how things manifest in life. So somebody with the gift of realism is very good at manifesting things in life,
Mm-hmm.
because they understand how the world works, and they can
Right.
work with that. Now, at the
Mm-hmm.
highest level, which is very, very rare, even for a city, it's rare. This is the city of justice. And it is so powerful that it represents, in a sense, a shift in the genet
Mm-hmm.
in it represents a shift in the way that life and genetics are actually translated, a shift in the
Mm-hmm.
laws of the universe. And so mythically mythically and metaphysically, it represents the idea of judgment day, say from the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
that sense of life being rewritten at the end of time, sort of at the end of things. The
Mm-hmm.
story opens up into this realm of magic and miracle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the 60. And I'm doing my best to describe this but it's like
You're doing great.
um, gate 61 or gene key 61 is related to the pineal gland. So it's up in the head center.
Mm-hmm.
And its shadow, this is the journey from psychosis at the shadow level to
Mm-hmm.
sanctity via the way or the gift of inspiration.
Wow.
And um, here we see, and we come to realize that psychosis, the shadow level energy of this, is something that we are all trapped in.
Mm-hmm.
We usually use psychotic to describe, people who are on, the rare people who seem to go really bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
But in understanding psychosis, we have to realize that it's actually, that is what is normal, what we would consider normal right now. Everybody is psychotic in our society because psychosis actually prevents us from experiencing reality as it is. And so we are all, a good proportion of us are in that psychosis. But this is one of the pressure gates, remember, because the
Mm-hmm.
head is a pressure center. God is pressure.
Mm-hmm.
In the human design, this would be called the gate of mystery or inner truth.
Mm-hmm.
So when it opens, when the mind begins to lose its grip on us and fear begins to lose a grip on us, then we rise into the energy of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like inspiration arises when we stop thinking about and worshiping God as external to us and
Mm-hmm.
start being able to perceive God, or start to kind of realize that as we open, as we awaken, we are becoming God because we are all parts of God, you see. So creativity is very linked up
Mm-hmm.
with this gift. And creativity is the single most important aspect that draws us away from mass psychosis
Wow.
because it opens us up into a new frequency
Mm-hmm.
and it loosens the mental constructs that we have been bound by.
Mm-hmm.
At its highest level, then, it emerges as sanctity. Um, as we let go of the mental constructs that keep us from viewing reality truly, then we enter into a pure universal awareness, which is experienced by others as a holiness. At the truest level of our being, sanctity is the mystery. Sanctity is the product
Mm-hmm.
of entering into the mystery of who you are as an individual.
Right.
So we see on a deepest level how all of these things are connected up with the way that we interface with reality. That's the word from the
Mm-hmm.
60. But, psychosis generates this constant why. Why? It's most related, the question of why and how and all its derivatives are related to that psychotic sense of self.
Wow.
So that's what's going on.
Wow, that's a lot. So, what would be the guidance um, from this codon ring moving forward?
Well, the guidance is, I really like this statement by Richard Rudd. He says that to a geneticist, everything we look at in life appears to serve the purpose of the evolution of life. But from the point of view of a mystic, everything serves the purpose of the evolution of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you, in a sense, think of those two ideas as one, then what it means is that, the purpose of life is the evolution. What we're all doing here is we're evolving,
Mm-hmm.
both physically and in terms of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But what excites me here is that Pluto, the planet of transformation, is currently at the very end of Capricorn in gate 60, which is one of the gates that we've looked at today, right? So we are being forced to look at life realistically. We are being forced to look, to realize the limitation of, the negative, the limitation of, the shadow of limitation.
Right.
But what follows 60 is 61. They are adjacent to each other. So the very last Capricorn gate is 61, where then we're going to be challenged to see through the psychosis of our society and of ourselves and embrace inspiration. And so it goes 60, 61, 41. And last week we talked about how 41, which is the first gate of Aquarius, is the start codon. So we are only a year and a bit away from Pluto entering into gate 41, the start codon. And what follows 41? 19. So all the three gates of Gaia are very close to each other. It goes 60, 61, 41, 19. So within those four, three of them are the gates of Gaia, right?
Wow.
So this really is exciting. I find it exciting because it really means that we are deeply working to reach towards an understanding of the interconnectedness of life. And this is probably why the Gaia hypothesis, seeing and understanding life as a unit, life is all interconnected, is so prevalent in our collective consciousness right now.
Right. Wow, that was awesome. So I can't wait to get into the next codon ring. Do you know what the next codon ring is that we're doing next week?
I think it's called the Ring of Union.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. It is gate. Oh, I had this on the tip of my tongue and now it's not.
Oh, well. We'll know next week. Anyways, with that, thanks so much for joining us. Sorry, there's I know it was glitchy in and out. I was having things freeze and stuff on this end, but thank you for staying with us. And we'll see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m. God bless, and we'll see you later.